Father God, we pause. We thank you for the blessings you've showered upon us in our county. We're mindful of those in the state of Indiana that are suffering flood damage, and we pray for a quick recovery. And we pray for those that have lost their lives in this very, very poor accident. We just thank you for your blessings you've given us, and we pray for direction and wisdom that we can help where we can. We're thankful for our privilege to serve for our constituents, and we pray for wisdom today as we make decisions for the county. After this prayer, we pray in Christ's name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the August 17th Commissioners meeting. Blake's pointing his prayer about thanking us for our luck or oversight that we didn't flood. When you drive through Noblesville and areas like that, it's amazing what
It's
17 inches of water.
phenomenal.
A few hours, bridges gone, people dead. But as a county, we also helped out. We sent a bunch of sandbags down that people didn't have. And then today, our EMA director went down and helped with damage assessments. So it's going to be a good neighboring county to
Yep.
help out. So appreciate all of the volunteer. In front of you have the meeting minutes, the last meeting, the agenda, motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0. We have a payroll of $313,110.08. Claims of $969,620.56.
Motion to approve the financials.
Second that motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
I did not hear from the sheriff, so I don't have numbers, and he's not here today, so I'll get those and get a copy over to you guys to update. So Mr. Witt, we'll start with you.
Good evening.
Evening.
First item I have, and it was actually put under Nate on the agenda. It is an amendment for a contract for project 1702735. That is an extension to the NDOT LPA agreement. The original one, or the original agreement expired on June 30th. And I've worked with NDOT, and they have decided to go ahead and extend it. So this will take off and give us an additional, I believe, 6 months. No, excuse me, a year, June 30th of 2027. The project is in final records. Our consultant is working with NDOT to make revisions to the final records and get it complete. So there should be plenty of time for them to get through that process.
This is going over Rock Creek.
Yes, sir.
I have no issues with that. I'll make a motion to allow the extension.
Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
You need to get a hold of Karen.
And it-
Have her resend that link expired. It can only last like 3 days.
Yep.
Does that motion need to be signed by him or you as president?
They send me to LPA.
So tweak the motion to allow the president to sign it.
I'll second that amendment.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
3-0.
And then we will have another one coming for County Home Road. I do not have it yet this evening, but I will have it hopefully in the next 2 weeks.
We'll put it on the next agenda.
Correct. Next item I have on the list is the horse-drawn vehicle ordinance. It has been published and ready for, I apologize, Ted, what's the term I want to use?
Vote and approval.
I guess that's it.
What?
A vote and approval on the horse-drawn ordinance.
I thought the last time we talked, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought we were gonna look at an ordinance that covers all sorts of stuff, including trucks and trailers and overweight and the softer, remember we had talked
Yes.
about the CFO.
We have not forgotten that. Nate and I've done quite a bit of research on that I think we're gonna have to put together and give you guys a better answer on how, it's not just gonna be an ordinance. Some of that may involve area plan as these new places come on board. Haul routes, so it's gonna be a little bit more in depth.
It's like a road usage type of.
Yes.
Because I did get a call for the liquid manure that's being hauled down on 218. Truck driver claimed he was bragging that he was 99,000 total or something like that. So my question, I called the state police to just see if we could do a random weight. Sure, like all farmers happy, but called to see if we could do random weight checks on trucks to find out. Also talked to the farmer. He says he has scale tickets. But can the county employees run scales, or does that have to be by an enforcement agent?
So I did talk to the state police as well, Tuesday or Wednesday of last week. So they have 4 scales. They'll be getting 2 more sets of scales. So currently they have 4 officers for 15 counties. We've been told that there'll be some manure coming in here in the not too distant future after hay comes off. So my plan was to have them come down. They said if we can get somebody down there, we'll come down there and do it. Just give us a heads up. Can county just do it? Yes. Set of scales according to ISP is 16 grand a piece. A set, sorry. And they can be done by other law enforcement agencies. Obviously, there'll be some training. Can we do it at the highway? No, it sounds like it's gotta be more of an enforceable. I don't think all commercial enforcement officers are the same as a state trooper. So I'm not sure what that level looks like, but that's something that can be done as well. I did mention to them that 218, and I'm not sure if 124 are 2 of the routes that are being used, but we have seen them on those routes. So they said if they have time, they're gonna try to get some guys down here as well to run the state routes.
Trust we have to verify, and the problem is we're starting to see such a deterioration on these haul routes, that it shouldn't be on the regular will-paying taxpayer to cover all the damage that's being caused, so, I mean, I'm sure I'm gonna get slaughtered about bringing it up, but if you're damaging the roads, you should have to pay the repairs, or, like I told the farmer, run by the rules. If you can't run by the rules, then why should we approve additional access to the roads if you can't run by the rules anyway?
Correct. Some of the things that we'll have to start looking at in the future is different ways in order to maintain our roads. I've got one on my desk now doing calcium chloride and doing some what we call FDR, full depth reclamation, taking what we have, pulverizing it up, putting it back down, adding in calcium chloride, mixing it back in, rolling it, compacting it, and then building back on top of it. So there's some options in the future that will be lower cost, but there still will be cost involved, especially if it involves either us purchasing a machine or paying someone to come in and do that piece for us, the pulverizing. The machines are about $500,000.
To the farmer's benefit, he did say that he's talked to both of you about what they'll need to do to help maintain,
Correct.
fix, and improve roads. It's not like I'm not putting it on them, it's just the fact that grain season, all that, you just go down, park by the ethanol plant, and watch vehicles roll in that look like they have flat tires when they leave their farm.
We're used to seeing that type of weight at a time of year when the roads are not as malleable. You know, so when you're in October, you're in November, and they're harvesting, sounds kind of counterintuitive. The roads can handle a little bit better. The oil's solid. Now we're seeing it in the middle of summer when they need to put down fertilizer, right? Not just that it's organic, but the cow manure has to go somewhere. So now you're trying to reach other fields where drag lines just aren't long enough. So they've got to do something with it. And now we're seeing that type of weight that is normally reserved for that colder months. It is happening in July, August, and I'm not so sure we won't see it in June with the amount of manure that is coming in and being used for fertilizer instead of chemicals. So we are going to look at something different.
Well, and the aprons are wet. I mean, you pull off an apron today, probably be there tomorrow.
We have had that in Huntington County, and I did talk to Huntington County. They,
What does it say? Talk to your superintendents
Well, I mean, when I go home and I head across with 124 closed, I head across 300 South in Huntington County, and within a 2-mile stretch, I'll pass 2 or 3 of these trucks every afternoon between, around 4:15, 4:30. So, and they are blowing it out. They're blowing out that chunk of road. It was fine when I started driving it a couple weeks ago when the bridge closed, and now there's multiple blowouts. And not only are you having a blowout, but when you're coming off the shoulder, you're watching that shoulder push. And so now you're causing that shoulder to push up. Water cannot drain. It's got nowhere to go, so now the water is just going to sit there. So not only are you patching the road, but now you need to come through and clip that shoulder off and remove the dirt and get the water to drain back down into the ditch.
I'm not saying across the board, but on these heavy manure trucks, I think there has to be a consideration for a different wheel tax.
I think that's, and I'm not trying to bring it up, but that's kind of where we're at. I mean, from a taxation point of view, there's, by state law, we can't really find a way in order to come back and say, here's a damage claim, you owe us $60,000 or $100,000. Indiana's an agricultural state, the law is set up that way. So I think that's kind of where we're at. I'm not sure the last time that was looked at, the wheel tax per county. State law is set up to where you can tax, where counties can tax that agricultural wheel tax. I know it's not popular. But when you figure, when that tractor, right, when that tractor is filled up at the farm to go down to that field 6 miles down the road, it's red diesel. There's no road taxes on that diesel. So when it comes through and it drops its cultivator by accident, he didn't put anything into repairing that road to begin with. It's a necessary evil, the road tax. I mean, I get it, but that's where we're at. We're seeing most of our damage by folks who aren't paying the tax to use the road. That's why you're seeing I-70. If I-70 is told, this is the same type of thing, right? Users aren't paying to use the road.
Yeah, right now, when he dropped that cultivator, it's the family of 4 in the minivan that's paying to fix that road.
Correct.
So back to this, I'd like BC, I'm not saying we don't vote on this or we don't approve it, but it'd be nice to see a comprehensive plan or road usage agreement or something. I don't know what Ted, maybe you have the answer, but this is just one of many issues that we have on the roads.
I would like
Nice
to
do it.
see this passed, but then I would like to have one ready for January 1 of next year, that we're ready to go with something more comprehensive for what the ideas are you're addressing. So give us something, boom, going forward. And I don't know if in the budget session, if council has anything earmarked, wheel tax changes, not that you're aware of. I mean, I mentioned it months ago to Seth, but whether or not he's planning on it or introducing anything, so, but, you know, there was over 100 farm vehicles, 100 plates, farm plates on vehicles in the county. Over 1,000, I'm sorry. So,
I'll ask Seth about it. Go through this, what's in here? You got it up.
So this is to put plates on horse-drawn vehicles. Buggy traffic is fairly destructive, and it's the horseshoes. It causes the roads to trough in the center, mainly the path where the horses take. The only real way to get on top of it is to get ahead of it. Once the troughing starts, it's a maintenance nightmare. LaGrange County, when they chip and seal, they use more steel slag and steel sand to help mitigate for it. So there's higher costs that come with it. Not every road in the county will need it at this point, but when you get over around Veracruz, 800 east, 300 south right there, those are where we're seeing it starting. Even the Violytics doesn't pick it up. Adams County did not adopt Violytics because they were having issues with it. Well, I seen it. We sit down with Violytics. I said, this is the start of buggy troughing. This is what you're picking up. That's where this came from, this ordinance, when I caught this earlier this year, late last year.
Most of our surrounding rural counties have similar ordinances requiring Amish to hold a license or permit the same way this is requesting that they hold a license or permit for Wells County.
Correct. So like in this case, this is not just a piece of ag equipment. This is their everyday mode of transportation. And just like the ag equipment, without this ordinance, they don't pay a user fee either.
What is the fees in the surrounding counties, do you know?
So right now, I believe Adams County is at 185, and next year will be 195, and the year after will be 205. You had asked me for LaGrange was, I forgot. It was quite a bit higher, I think 300, and I said it for 200.
I think the way I understand it, LaGrange, the Amish church just sends a check to the county for everything, so there's not individual fees.
Oh, really?
But it equivalates out.
$3 million? Wow.
At least they acknowledge the problem and addressing it, so. It'd be me, I'd make them bag their horses, but I'll leave that go for now, so. But I think
This is neither a stopgap for the overall concerns that Commissioner Stringer, you talked about today, or that Commissioner Vanover talked about at a prior meeting. This is a separate issue about a particular usage, which would put Wells County consistent with other surrounding counties.
Good?
Oh, my thoughts are still the same as I said last time.
Needs to be bigger.
If it's not together, my vote's no today.
Where you at with it, Commissioner Gerber?
I'm fine with it.
What's that?
I'm fine with it as long as we have something else coming.
You guys are gonna look at a comprehensive road usage?
That-
This gets everybody under plates. And then from there, you could take plates and look at usage, how many, it's like he said, you said there's around 1,000.
There's
Farm
over
vehicles that
1,000
pay no
farm
tax.
plates that are in the county right now. That was a very small piece of the overall picture. Yes, yeah, that's only a portion. Right.
Is it? But this allows you to track, right? Once you get these guys the license, guys and gals the license, now you have some way to track. I'm with Mike, I'd like to see an overall, but again, I think we're chipping away at it once in a while. I don't want to wait a year or 2 years to figure out a solution, because right now we've got issues. Mr. Gerber, you motion or no motion?
Well, my motion is to approve it pending that we have another document coming. That's gonna suffice us. Let's see, we're almost September 1st, by January 1. That would be my motion. But
You're still where you're at? I'm gonna second it for this one, to get this one approved with the idea that you guys are coming with a comprehensive, some way to look at how we mitigate damage. Because, I mean, if this causes $3 million of damage and we're gonna cover it, I can't imagine what we're doing with trucks. And it's not only becoming a truck issue, there's, you know, I'm getting feedback about school buses and blocking and soft aprons and trucks stuck off the side of the road and sewage floating down the ditches. And I think it's a big issue, and I'm pro-farm. We live in a farming community. I don't want to say zero to all CAFOs by any means, because we are a farming community. Can't move to the county and say, hey, I just put a house out here, so stop farming. That's not realistic either, but I play by the rules. And this is just one step, so. All right, so we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
So we got 2-1.
Ordinance 2026-09.
Would you, we should entertain a motion to waive the second reading. Even with a 2-to-1 vote, we can have a unanimous waiver of a second reading.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, so we have a motion from Commissioner Gerber to waive the second reading. There would need to be a second to that.
I'll second that.
And then we'd have a vote.
Aye.
All against?
Aye.
2-1.
Okay, so we'll have to read this again at our next meeting in order to make it official.
Okay.
Chip and seal, we were down to about, right before the meeting, we finished 1,000 north. 900 north was completed this morning, so we're down to about 6 miles of chip and seal. Dust day was applied to Meridian Road this morning, so we will be putting the 3 coats on it tomorrow. And then we will go back to finishing chip and seal on our way down to 500 west to do the reroute of 500 west. We'll get it converted, depending on rain on Thursday. And then the last thing we will do is the County Road 600 East ag damage patch. We'll get 3 coats of chip and seal. The patch itself's about 150 foot. We'll go past it, then we'll do the next layer out a little bit further than that, and then go a little bit further out. That way we don't have a lip.
Is that the one where they drop the implement?
No, that's where they, the semis left us with 6-inch deep ruts. So, I don't remember if you were on the call or on the meeting, Jeff, but the semis left us ruts about 6 inches deep. The farmer called us, told us about it. We went out there and looked at it. What we found was 4 inches of stone and 2 inches of chip and seal. So we removed all of that, overdug it, removed some of the clay, and put in 12 inches of ag.
So is that a poorly designed road, or is that excess weight, or both?
Well, it's what roads used to be to handle what we used to have.
Yeah, it's I think the engineering term, and don't quote me on this, is it's functionally obsolete.
Is there a way to track, and again, I'm not targeting anybody, I mean, if it was Alexan, I used to own Alexan, if we were damaging the roads, somebody should measure what we're doing, what caused the damage, and then we have to pay, right? If I was overweight, we'd get ticketed, or if I dropped scrap, we'd get ticketed. I think we need to have the same database for all people that use the road. I mean, if Nesco goes out and they're overweight and they damage the roads, and we get a notice, hey, this got damaged because of this, we should have some kind of database. We track that and start using that database to hold those people accountable, or adjust the rates because their equipment's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. That's why you have, they bring a crane into this area to lift something heavy. They have to get a permit, they have to pay those costs to bring that equipment in. That's what we need to be doing for everybody, because it shouldn't just go on the regular road taxpayer to fix all this stuff.
Understanding where they're hauling, not just the haul routes, but what they're doing is stopping at the same place every time, and that's what killed this road, is they were coming to a stop, loaded at the same place every time. If they were loaded at where they're at and they had just kept driving forward, it would have been a non-issue. So almost wherever these portable lagoons go, that section of road, to us, maybe do a 500-foot piece at each one. Have somebody come in, do geotech on it, do a coring, bore it, figure out what we have, and almost set it up like a road conversion plan based on priority.
Are there any permits needed to put a mobile lagoon in through the APC?
Not to my knowledge. It comes and goes. It's almost like wherever you park for running regular fertilizer, like when they come in, it's liquid with a tank and it's on a trailer, or where they're parking the semi to load grain in the fall. Kind of the same, it's viewed the same way by the farmers.
But it's different, isn't it? Because you bring a mobile lagoon in, you're not doing it for one tanker, because one tanker, you just put the drag line
Right.
on the tanker. You know that you're gonna do it for multiple tanks. So the road usage should reflect that we're gonna have a high concentration of weighted vehicles in that one location over and over and over until they move the lagoon. And then
Correct.
the second one I would ask, and I'm gonna ask Mike Lotzenheiser, is if that lagoon bursts, is there any, I don't know. I don't wanna over-regulate, but it's becoming an issue, and with 4,000 head of cattle,
How long
coming
is
into
that
this
mobile
area is gonna be
lagoon allowed to be there? I mean, or have they been moving it?
They move them, so,
I mean, is it there 3
I'm not
weeks,
sure how,
2
I don't
weeks,
know how they,
1 week?
I'm not sure how they figure up how many loads they're gonna put on a field. Or, I think it's gonna be really based on the machine itself that runs in and out. It's kinda like a drag line that reels and unreels. It can take care of so much field, and there's a couple fields where they've had a lagoon off of this road, then turn around, moved it over here to take care of the rest of the field from that direction. I don't have an understanding of how many loads that is, what that looks like, but then I guess it also bases itself on how much they loaded the truck with.
and how hot the manure is and all that stuff.
Right.
All right, I'll follow up with Lotzenheiser.
Equipment, facilities wise, the new distributor went into use today, and I'm not gonna jinx this. The new truck chassis arrived. We picked it up from Stoops. It is the Western Star 47X. As soon as we get through budgets, end of the week, understanding where we're at, I can put the bid out for the upfit. Then it will not be here. Talking to most upfitters, it's 6 to 9 months out on an upfit kit, 6 months at the earliest. So once we know what our budget is for next year, I can get that out, and then that starts that process. So we won't pay it out till 27.
So it doesn't even start getting used till February?
Yeah. Talking to one of the suppliers who does the state DOT trucks, they ordered their 2028 upfits 2 months ago, 3 months ago. That's how far out the upfitters are.
Have you checked with Nesco and PTR does that big a truck or not?
I don't think they do this type of truck. I can double check with them, but I've talked to a few others, and then talking to a few other counties. There's some counties that are actually going, we have a county up to the northwest. There's an upfitter up that way, and who they've used routinely, but they've gotten so far out, they're looking at upfitters out of state.
W.A. Jones, I think, does it too, right?
Yep, we talked to them, and those that we've talked to supplied us with budgetary quotes so we could put our budget together for county council. And then we're going to do some work on County Road 250 East at Kingsland. We're going to clean up 250 East where the sewer district did some work, and the road was not in the greatest of shape. So we're going to rent a mill head for our skid loader, and we're going to clean it up and try out a mill head and see if that's something that may help us in the future doing patching. So we're going to give it a try and do some, I don't want to say experimenting, but get us some time on that and see if it's something that's worth our while down the road. The ICE student from Southern Wells, Mr. Jacob Gearhart, started with us last week. He's working with us in the mornings. Seems to be a quick learner, and got his computer set up, got him a desk. Gonna hopefully see what we can do for that young man and see if he wants to stay on the business track or if he wants to get new equipment. And then the last is, I do not believe we have any right-of-ways for the week. So that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Nate?
Good evening. I'm back here jotting notes down as I'm thinking of them, so I'm gonna go a little bit off agenda here just briefly, since Matt just finished up. Before we step completely away from the road damages and how we're going to address that and stuff, I've spent a lot of time looking into this, and the options that I was looking for are not necessarily out there. I think we are somewhat limited on how we can approach this, and I know it's an unpopular answer, but the reality of it is, I think it is more than likely going to have to be addressed through wheel tax. And from what I'm finding, I don't think that our county has adjusted wheel tax since at least 2011, 2012 was about as far back as I could find things. The rates per the class of vehicle appear to be the same as they were then. That coupled with the fact that the vehicles that are larger by nature, you know, the heavy trucks are not a whole lot more, like their tax rate is not a whole lot more than what the smaller vehicles are. It's not skewed as much as it probably needs to be. So that's kind of what I've been looking into, is what kind of changes can we make that would make a meaningful impact revenue-wise to help fund some of the damage repairs, if that makes sense.
Can you look at surrounding counties and see what they're doing? We can't be the only ones having this issue.
I would say that we're not. I mean, like Matt mentioned, we both live in Huntington County, and I'm seeing the damage. I've talked to Bridget and given her the heads up on what I'm seeing, what we've been dealing with here, just as a courtesy, you know. But yeah, we can definitely look at surrounding counties and kind of see how we stack up wheel tax wise. Have some conversations about that as well. I guess one question that I have for you guys is, you know, if we're looking at making alterations or proposing alterations to the wheel tax, I mean, does that sit with you guys or does it sit with county council?
Council makes the ultimate decision, correct? I think so.
But we can bring it before 'em.
Oh, yeah, and that's why I brought it up.
I think we're about half of what we.
When is the deadline?
On wheel tax. Right?
There's room there. I know that's, again, I hate paying taxes as much as the next person, but when you work in a sector where you see what the taxes do and what they're needed for and used for, you know, it's always tugged me in two directions because I've been a public employee.
I've got plenty of trucks on the road, and I mean, it's gonna make it go up for me, but I think it has to.
Right.
See how you get around it.
I think you gotta look at it a different way though, right? None of us wanna pay taxes. Let's go fight all the fraud going on and get rid of some of the taxes. And property tax drives me nuts that you gotta rent your own property. But when you're causing damage to a road, and it's not so much the truck and the guy that's gonna, you know, I don't want anybody to get hurt, but what about all these school buses that are running down the same road? School buses that are, you know, you look at some of these pullover places where they've put these lagoons where they usually pick up kids, you can't go there anymore because it's all rutted out, it's messy, it's got manure everywhere. And I'm not just putting it on that, it's on harvesting and all that. And as these trucks get bigger, the equipment gets bigger. I mean, it's not just the trucks. You go down and watch a big head combine run down the road. I mean, there's not enough room for it to stay on the road as wide as they are. So as they get bigger, it's great. It gives more production, but it shouldn't be the family of four in a minivan paying for a road that was damaged by a haul truck. I mean, it needs to be the people that are damaging paying for it.
So you're literally reading my next point right off my paper, Jeff,
Okay.
from across the table. You know, I jotted a note down here. It's not always overweight.
Right.
You know, a lot of the vehicles that are causing this damage are well within their legal weight. They may be at the very top of that, but it's the numbers, the repetitious loading, coupled with the fact that when these county roads were first built and even upgraded, the equipment was half the size the last time these roads had any type of meaningful upgrade. So they just weren't built for it. And I guess, you know, anybody could put that back on the county. Well, why didn't you build the roads to a higher standard? Well, that costs more money, and we're right back to, we don't like to pay taxes, and that's where that money comes from, to fund the building of the roads. So
Well, in our county, a lot of our roads are old dirt roads that chip and seal was put on. They were never built for the base. And you look back 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago, you didn't have the haul trucks. You know, you had a single axle or maybe a tandem axle truck that used to haul ground. Now you have a semi with a trailer or two on there. And 99% of the farmers run within regulations. there's some that brag about running heavy. And when you run heavy, if you run heavy, you know, I get told all the time, I go 10% over, right? 10%. But if you get caught over and you're over that 80,000, it doesn't just get penalized on the over 10%. It goes back to the 80,000 regulations. So I just want people to run legal, and if you're damaging the roads, it shouldn't go on the everyday mom, dad, 2 kids driving down to school. That's not who's damaging it. It's
Right.
gotta be taxed
And
on the
when
people that damage it.
when I get this all put together and present you guys with those numbers, like what you'll see is that the normal everyday vehicles are funding the largest part of the wheel tax. So, and there's really, I don't know that there's a way around that. That's kind of a, you know, you could 10x the big vehicle rates and you're still not gonna exceed what the little vehicle rates sum up to be. So my final point that I noted here was not always trucks. Wider equipment, as you mentioned, is a lot of it. It breaks down the shoulder. It's the weakest part of the road. And unfortunately, most of the time, the combines, the big tractors running quads, your huge sprayers, things like that are the ones that, you know, have to get over and run there to pass vehicles and stuff, which I understand. Those vehicles are not required to be plated. You know, maybe the sprayers are. I may be misspeaking on that, but I mean, combines aren't, big tractors aren't. So, I mean, how do we account for that? To my knowledge, there's nothing that allows us to account for that. I mean, you're talking about a legislative change there to be able to do anything with that. So those were just some thoughts that I jotted down outside my agenda as Matt was up here. So we'll go to the top of the page and I'll give you what I've got for this evening. I've got 4 permits that I'm recommending for approval. 2 of them are with REMC. The first being underground duct for a new residential service. The second being a 3-phase rebuild on 500 West. I've got a permit from Mediacom down in Liberty Center to run a short run of underground duct for fiber. And then NIPSCO has, I believe they're replacing an old residential service. It's way up north on 450 East, north of 1100. So I'm recommending all 4 of those permits for approval this evening.
I'll make that motion to allow those 4 right-of-ways.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
Our durable pavement marking contract has reached near completion. The consultant inspection staff and myself sat down and met with the contractor last week about some of the deficiencies that we've seen. We've seen where they've strayed from center, which leaves you with a narrow lane and a wide lane. There's a few quality issues. So they've got a pretty comprehensive list put together of problem areas that we all agreed upon. The contractor was going back to his scheduling department to see when he could get removal equipment scheduled to come up here and do that. And then after it's been removed, they will follow that up with restriping those areas the way they were intended to be.
I got a couple calls from residents about, we've never striped a lot of these roads. Why are we striping them now? A lot of county roads don't have stripes.
There are a lot of them that don't have stripes. So the whole intent behind the grant that I applied for this was, it was highway safety improvement funds. And the basis that I used in the grant application was tied to runoff road crashes. So I actually used crash data from NERC along with traffic counts and just tried to select higher volume roads that had some type of runoff road crash history.
So it was based off some.
It was based off of that this time, yep. Bridge 71, last week was a complete washout, so no real additional progress to update you guys on there. This week, if water recedes, they plan on working on tying steel for Pier 3 and driving piles for Bent 4. Bridge 54, we got a couple pictures there of the progress that they had made recently. They finished the stone subgrade and were able to start paving last week. They plan to finish the surface course of asphalt this week. And I've got a note there that there will be an upcoming change order for pavement markings. Somehow, pavement markings did not make it into the list of pay items for this contract, and I think it'll look silly to have a brand-new bridge and a pretty good stretch of road and an intersection improvement without any striping on it. So the preliminary estimate for that striping work, including mobilization of a striping contractor, which was not originally set up, was around $10,000. Then a couple things. Also, as I was sitting there, I remembered that I forgot to put on the agenda, Bridge 41, which was the timber bridge down on 12 South that was damaged while NDOT had 3 closed down at 18 last year. That work has been completed and 1200 South is now open. So I'm working with the contractor and the designer to kind of finalize pay quantities. And once those are all in, we'll be submitting the portion that NDOT agreed to cover, which is not all of it, because we did do some maintenance upgrades to the bridge to kind of buy us some time there while we were in there doing work. So a good chunk of that will be covered in the reimbursement agreement with NDOT. And then my final note, which I forgot to stick on here, is that we're planning to begin the Liberty Center paving project next week on the 25th, weather pending. So E&B Paving will be down there for a couple weeks, doing some milling on the streets and then putting a fresh coat of asphalt on the streets down there. There's a couple drainage issues that we're going to try to correct while we're down there, corners that are holding water real bad. Just leads to faster deterioration of the pavement, so try to get those corrected while we're down there as well. That's it for this evening.
I may have misunderstood on the agenda. There's an NDOT LPA contract amendment for contract 802955. Was that?
Matt covered one, and I believe he only had one to date. He had both of them put on the agenda. They were mistakenly put under me.
Okay, yeah, the 702735 we discussed, but we didn't discuss the other one, so I didn't know if that was you or if that was just
So I'm glad you brought that up because I actually had a thought while I was sitting back there. Is it okay for Matt to have a motion for Jeff to sign that when he does get the agreement?
I guess we don't know what we're talking about, though. Usually, the commissioners are educated on the contract because the contract is part of the packet. I would presume we would be concerned about having an approval without a contract in front of them. Yeah, we talked about this 2735, and that
The
one
only
was
reason I
approved.
ask is because they're essentially the same thing. They're both existing contracts that are being extended to a later date only because, for lack of a better way to put it, NDOT didn't really take into account how long it was going to take for final records to be completed. So
It's not a fiscal change, it's a timing change.
correct.
But I'm with you. I think we need
I'm going to
have
leave it
the-
alone, but I thought I would at least bring it up.
I'm sorry to get in the way of progress. Yeah, I think
That's
that's
fine.
one where we'd need the contract.
That's fine.
Yep, great suggestion, though.
Library. No, it always says Sarah on here, and then it's always you two.
We bring the good looks down.
The B team. You got the B team.
Good evening. This is the quarterly update for the library. Really what this is going to be is giving you the synopsis of our big summer programs that we have, and then a little bit of what's going forward and things like that. So we had a massively successful summer reading program this year. You can see the numbers there. Almost 1,500 children, almost 300 teens, and 550 adults all participated in that. And we logged way higher numbers in participation and usage than what we did last year. Between the infants, children, and their minutes read and activities, and then the teens and adults and their total numbers of pages read, if we compared that to our winter reading program, it was almost double. Which is kind of weird. We would think that if you're stuck inside for the winter, you'd read more, but that just shows how successful this program is and how much participation we have. And so then it concluded with the pool party there that we had almost 1,100 participants as well. Now, when we look at our usage in performance metrics there, we are just kind of right on the same glide path as we were last year. So those numbers are at the end of June, so at 6 months, we're roughly 50% of what we used for our uses last year, so we're holding steady there. But there is one key thing when we look at the reading and learning impact. You look at those June and July circulation numbers, those are quite a bit higher than in the past. So we have a total circulation of about 92,000 books within the library. So each month we had about a third of our total circulation used. So that's a very large number. So we're seeing more and more usage within that, which was great. The community engagement, this was a one book county. So it was more or less a book club kind of event that bridged out, and you can see those different items there that also utilized. So that was engaging more of that community as well, and was a very successful program that we had, and so forth. Now, if you go to your second page, we're going to kind of talk a little bit about the big change that people are going to see in kind of circulation and book usage well, not just book usage, any usage, is we're transitioning to this evergreen. Now, we brought this up a couple months ago. This is the new platform for people to be able to see what our inventory is, and then also to be able to check books out. Many counties have used this in the past. What this does enable is that if somebody wants a book from Adams County or from Allen County, that they're able to get those if we don't have it, and it gets moved around and things like that. The library staff has done several site visits because Adams County's had it now for, I think, 2 years. So they've gone over and done some visits with them on this. It's a lot of transition. And so, but the big deal there is that we will have an estimated about $80,000 usage reduction or savings in money. So it's a big piece for us, but it's a big change for the staff. Lots of training and change management that has to go there for them. But it's been ongoing. This is not been like, hey, let's do this in 2 months and go at it. It's been 6-8 month long project for it. So now as we look at this, for the way we're going for 2026, at the beginning of the year, we talked about the budget constraints that are coming. Everything is postured to accept that and understand that we are not going to limit anything for our patrons. We're still going to be able to have massive amounts of offerings and community engagement. So, but that's the quarterly update and the big summer programs that we have from the library, pending any of your questions.
I have nothing.
All right, very good.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, gentlemen. Thank you.
Talks way too much. Mr. Bennett.
Hi, Ryan.
Doesn't matter. I've got permit fees for the new ordinance. Of course, these have went up, obviously. It's been 19 years since we had any increases. Increases that we came up with on the establishment is based on the size of the establishment. The amount of time we're in an establishment takes twice as long to cover an establishment that's twice as big. So we factored in, broke down our salary and hourly rates, tried to use that, tried to figure out, where we drive in the county, get a good average between Ossian and Bluffton, maybe a few other random places. So that's kind of how we came up with our permit fees moving forward.
On that application or I guess it's application when you get your permit.
Yep.
Does it say, it used to say, and we had this issue when you first started, the late fee in bold letters, super big on the top, because every time somebody has to pay that late fee, they say it's unconstitutional and
Yep.
it's highway robbery and
Yep.
bringing rolled nickels taped in duct tape and a 5-gallon bucket.
So it'll definitely be in bold letters. Just to clear some things up with the late fees, you know, the permits expired on the 31st, have to be renewed, you know, before they expire. We're always at the holidays. Then we always get that, well, I wasn't open on the 1st, I wasn't open on the 1st and 2nd, Monday's the 3rd. There's always been this hiccup of how do we assess that late fee? And it was not wrote out in the previous ordinance. So that is why we came up with putting a 5-day window in here after the first of the year. Get business rolling again. We're not going to fault you for 5 days. After 5 days, it's late fees.
Most people are 2, 3, 4 months late when they usually come and scream at us anyway, so.
Yeah.
It's not like you were closed for one day that caused them. I just want to make sure it's still bold on the top of the app.
Will be. Our permit will be application.
Do you have a notice that goes out?
We do. We send a notice out.
I'm just trying, like the Secretary of State, you know, you file your business entity report.
Yep. So I want to say somewhere between probably the third week in November, we send out a notice with a permit, a statement, red letters about late fees. And then over the last 5 years, I've made a phone call, usually in the last 2 weeks of the year, to every person and said, hey, reminder. So our goal has been actually not to collect late fees.
So what percentage increase is it?
So, on our, currently, we were at $100 across the board,
For everybody?
every place in the county, regardless of size or operation. So I've looked at other counties too, we've had a lot of discussion, and a lot of people are switching to a square footage size for the same reason, it's my time there. And a place like Walmart or Kroger, not only are they larger and it's 2, 3, 4 times the amount of time per inspection, we're going back there more often for recalls and those types of things. So we spend a lot more time in the larger facilities. Then as we go down the list, and right there, we're just focusing on groceries and restaurants. The mobile retail food establishment, 75, that's roughly double of what we are now. That goes away at the end of this year. So at the end of this year, we can no longer permit mobiles. The state is actually going to permit them. We will get 200 of the $450 that the state's going to require them back to us, but probably the only people we're going to get are our locals here versus where in the past, we would pick up 20 other mobiles from neighboring counties. But they're going to get their permit from the state, which is going to be good in all 92 counties now. So the county mobile goes away. And then moving on down to the temporary food establishment, those will be going away as well as of now. So those are typically what we've done for street fair every year. Pretty decent income maker. With the new state mobile permit, the way the law was wrote, we can't charge them twice, so they are already permitted. So we will only get 1 or 2 people at street fair that pay those fees anymore.
Is that effective this year or next year?
It will affect next year.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Has this been public or anything? Any feedback, or is it just pass it and we go?
I have shared it. I know I shared it with Matt a little bit beforehand. Wasn't just tonight, just to get some feedback.
Feedback, Matt, what do you, you're a restaurant owner, what do you see?
Yeah, makes sense, and I understand that. What they have to do, I think that the state mobile permit's a joke on how that was written. I think that's a mistake, but they have to go, and they have to abide by that now. And, I mean, that's nothing they can do about that, and I see that point. So I don't have any complaints about what they're doing.
And I think even at my lowest permit at 200, there is one county that is still lower than us. They are working on changing theirs as well, neighboring county. but still within reason there, for sure.
You say the average is $300?
I would say the average closer from where I looked would be closer to $350, $400.
So we're still pro-business, but gotta cover costs.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And just because I looked at mom and pop businesses around town, and I kind of wanted to work with as many of those as I could with these numbers and not get that 4,002 that's gonna make them pay extra. Is there one or two that I kind of am gonna have a little issue with? Maybe. A good example is Unique Blue. It's just large. And, you know, the way we look at it is square footage of the facility. They're just large. Now, I don't have to count all 3 stories there, but with that, you know, can we just look at a kitchen versus an entire facility? I don't inspect bars. That's out of my realm. I have no reason to be at a bar, so I feel like I'm not going to count that square footage on a bar. It's kind of off limits to me. So I think I think I can make that work. But outside of that, I mean, most places have, I did look through them to make sure there wasn't major collateral damage, and again, took care of the majority of our mom and pops.
Just as a piece of information for the commissioners, the Wells County Ordinance Book reflects that there has not been a change in our fees since 2007. So this would be the first increase in 20 years.
Just to verify, Ryan, we'll go back to the bar thing. So restaurant dining rooms are gonna be like, different than bars, restaurant dining rooms?
No, so I am not allowed to inspect bars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, alcohol's off limits for me.
What if I start serving alcohol and I got like a beer and wine license?
I would not inspect your bar. That would be it. I would still inspect the restaurant, the kitchen, and eating area.
But that has nothing to do with the square footage thing you're saying. All right, I think.
No, my point is, since I don't inspect it, I'm not going to include that in the square footage.
All right, sounds.
Yep.
Any other questions?
I would just like to have a report in a year from now to see how reaction has been. So,
Sure. So, you know, we've talked about this. Sahara is the one that takes payments. I've asked her, are you ready for some, you know, being yelled at and screamed at?
Send them to us. We're the ones that approved it. If they
Well-
want to scream and yell, I'll take the calls.
You know, the majority of these are going to a corporate office. Whatever I check on the top of their permit is what they pay and send in. I'm not trying to take advantage of that by no means, but, you know, I would expect a little more static from my local people, but I think I've considered that. I put a lot of thought into that when we did this, so.
appreciate that.
I would like at the end of each year, the beginning of each year, you give us a list of people that are late. And not that we're gonna go beat them up, but if it's
Sure.
if it's the same people year after year after year that we've gotta chase, then the enforcement might be, if you can't pay on time, you don't get your permit.
Correct.
You close a few people down for not paying, because we went the other way where it's been months and we're trying to collect and we get it, it should be maybe there's interest.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, I'll make that motion to allow it. And let's have a second reading.
Second,
Well, we should have a vote first.
second that motion.
Vote for what? Vote first?
Well, I'm gonna vote first, then we'll vote on the second reading, if we're gonna have one or not.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
And then we'd entertain a motion to waive the second reading.
And I will make that motion.
No, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
Thank you.
Betsy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you, man.
Ms. Auditor, what was the ordinance number then for the fee schedule?
2026-10.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. So I'm coming before you this evening for a couple of signatures. We have our second quarter of 2026, the 5311 NDOT invoice that I need to be signed so I can submit that to NDOT and receive reimbursement for second quarter expenses. And then I also have the NDOT 5339 invoice payment request. Last Tuesday, we had delivered our 3 new minivans that are replacing our 3 oldest vehicles in the fleet. Oops, there we go. So this will be the part that I have to pay that is from the federal government. I already sent a check back with them when they delivered the vans for our local share pay. That came out of the Council on Aging's general funds.
This was already voted on and approved, right? It's just paying.
They're just payments, yes. Yep. We would have voted back in 2025 for these
To be,
contracts, and then, yeah, these are just invoices that I need signatures so I can submit to NDOT to get reimbursement. And so Midwest Transit Equipment can get the rest of their payment for those 3 minivans.
so we just need a motion for me to
One or
sign.
2 motions?
I believe you could probably do it in one. But it might be better to do it in 2 because they're going to 2 separate places.
I'll make a motion to accept the invoices for the 3 minivans
Second.
and allow the commissioner to sign it. President.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0. I was gonna say. has to be-
Thank you, Blake.
Here.
Yes, where it's highlighted.
We do a motion for both?
Yep.
Now, make a motion to,
For the vans.
that was for the vans, and then I'll make a motion to,
For the 3511 expenses?
yes,
All in favor?
and allow president to sign that document also.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0.
Thank you for letting me jump in.
Need copies of these? Thank you.
And that's all I have. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Okay. Miscellaneous, other business, reports.
Okay, we have the 2027 holiday schedule. I emailed that ahead of time. It's the same holidays that have been approved years past, and it's the holidays that are also listed in the handbook.
I'll make a motion to accept the holiday schedule.
I'll second that.
Here, second. All in favor?
Aye.
0.
And then we have the Thanksgiving and Christmas gatherings. Sorry. The request for Thanksgiving luncheon is Tuesday, November 24th. And what you usually approve is allowing a 2-hour lunch period from noon to 2 with the additional hour paid. And for Christmas, that would be Wednesday, December 23rd. We have a carry-in. We quit working at 2 and then have the carry-in and then leave for the day. And you usually allow payment for those wages as well.
12 to 2 also, sorry.
I'm sorry?
You said 12 to 2 also on those?
Yes, 12 to 2 for the luncheon and 2 o'clock leave after our carry-in for Christmas.
Okay.
I'll make that motion to allow the holiday schedule along with those 2 meals.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opioid.
Yes. Do you want the balances?
So restricted balance is 31,419.96, and unrestricted is 65,089.32. Is that what we just got in, or is that just the balances?
That's just the balances.
How's that going with all those, picking who gets what? Still pretty good?
Yeah, going well. It is, yeah, and we've had reports come in too, so. It's, yeah, I mean, it's going like it should.
Stephen wanted you guys to open a funding cycle from October 1st through October 31st for submissions.
Yeah, I mean, I'll make a motion to, open that cycle.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0. Is that, I mean, that's a board that does that, right? Can they, we have to do that, open the cycle up, or can we?
Well,
do
we
that?
wanna get permission to do it. We want, I mean, the board wants the commissioners to know that it's going on and that we may be approving funds.
And ultimately, the approval of the grants has to come before the Board of Commissioners, so,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Be interesting to see if we get any new participants to put in applications.
I think, well, there was a lot of interest last time. And it seems like, people are still talking about it, so. Seems like it's functioning how it should.
AJ, since you're the only one in the, forum, you got something?
No.
So my biggest thing is, Wells Regional Sewer District, I'm not sure the last time they guys presented to you. The residents of the Toxin Project now have 2 bills and 0 work started. So I just want,
Noticed that in the paper.
so I just want to bring it to you guys' attention that may be time for you guys to kind of start asking the Regional Sewer District what's going on with that. They have requested the contractor to be out there to the last meeting, and they didn't show up. And so it's getting to that point, we're gonna get 2 bills already. They're gonna keep coming, because the state makes us pay until that project, well, we're gonna have to pay anyways, but project's supposed to be started probably March, May, that timeline. Now we're almost to September, no work has started yet.
Is RSD saying, I mean, I can't imagine you've been quiet. Have you asked Bruce? And
I've asked questions when they're planning on started, that's why they asked the contractor to be at the last meeting to see when they were gonna,
And he was a no-show.
and they was a no-show at the last meeting.
VTF didn't come.
I'll tell you, I'll stop in and talk with Bruce tomorrow. I know the VTF guys unfortunately too well, so I don't mind calling out them either.
That's fine, so, that's the only thing I have for you guys,
I think that's, well, I think the last time we ran into the same problem.
I think, and it's been.
Either they
it's
were
the
late
same-
getting there,
Yeah,
and then they failed to complete it and just strung you guys
yeah, the strung out,
go
yeah.
along.
And it's just the same thing, you get the issues down at Liberty Center, it's the same contractor now, the county's paying for to fix these roads again, so.
I'm telling you, that's what's wrong with bidding the way that we have to at the state. The lowest bidder, which is usually the lowest performer, gets the job. So it's, and they love it because nobody ever holds them accountable.
But like I said, it's just time for, that you guys start reaching out a little bit more.
They need a
There's gotta
bump,
be a way to
yeah.
install performance contracts. I mean, there has to be. We need performance measures on this, so if they do it, there's a penalty.
Well, on the Hoosier Highway, we held that group to task.
Oh, yeah, we've been out there, yeah, for sure.
With it being the regional sewer district, we have funds in there though, so we should be represented. So I'll dig into it tomorrow and give you an answer.
Yeah, Wells County contributed a substantial amount under economic development for that project, which is understandable.
Holly, you got anything?
I don't think the grant cycle was set into a mic, so if there's anybody watching, I didn't catch it either. I was gonna ask afterward.
Grant cycle.
The dates?
Opioid?
Oh,
Yeah.
October 1st through October 31st to submit.
To submit, yes.
sometimes it's hard to hear up here whether the mics are working or not, especially with Blake. Blake's so quiet over there.
Well, and you have that air conditioning vent too, that doesn't help this situation.
Is that all you have?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask that.
You have anything, Lisa? Commissioners,
No, sir.
All good?
council?
We received notification of a potential petition to vacate a roadway. If that petition is received, statute requires that we hold a legislative hearing in 30 days. With the upcoming schedule, and I apologize, I'm going back, our next meeting would be on September 7th, 8th because of the holiday, thank you very much. And then the second meeting on the 21st is generally canceled because of the street fair. So I would suggest that I work with counsel for the petitioner to see if she would submit that after September 5th, so that way we could hold the hearing as part of our meeting on Monday, October 5. Okay.
There is we have to present the budget at 8 AM on the 20th, is that correct?
Yeah, Thursday morning.
I don't know if you guys want to be there when I present it or not, but
I'll be there for the drainage and for the solid waste, so I'll probably just come at 8, be in the audience.
you get a motion to adjourn. All in favor?